Hello, my name is Carlos Wilson, and I'm going to talk about my creative critical review video about my movie Nameless. I worked along with Liliana Mejia and Paula Marchan on this incredible project. It was a really good experience, and I really enjoyed it throughout. So, we started in a blank slate. We didn't have anything to start from, nor anything to go on for. So, we decided to encounter as a group on the first day of the project, and we immediately knew from past experiences that um, this was not going to be an easy project, and this wasn't going to be very close in time, even though we had about a month to work on the project. So we decided to start quick and finish fast, but and have time for mistakes. That's basically the idea of our work program. So we had to start with a general. So the first time we met, we started discussing about ourselves and our passions and what we enjoyed in movies to maybe encounter something that could drive us forward, but we didn't. It was really difficult. I think, it was the most difficult part of the project was to come up with the idea. I really thought the most difficult part would be just filming and using and choosing the different shots, but no, it was actually coming up with a project. So when we when we were stuck in the general situation, we decided to just do the process of elimination. We took the three most biggest bigger um genres, being thriller, action, and comedy, and we decided to debunk many of them to leave us behind with just one. When we thought about comedy, we said it was going to be difficult because was very propense to fall into the cliche schema and fall into the cliche things about comedy that many of the comedy movies already have. So we didn't want to base our movie opening comedy because it was going to be very difficult. Then action. Um, when we think of action, we think of very many special effects, fast-paced scenes, a lot of budget in those movies. And since we're not even an independent film company, we're just a bunch of teenagers trying to come up with a very good movie opening. We decided to stay away from action as well. It can also fall into the cliche category of action. So we were left off with thriller. And I think we chose thriller because of two different facts. The first was because at that time we were really focusing on thriller in our Ace Media class. We were studying many movies such as Psycho, Donnie Darko, and many of my favorite movies are thrillers. Actually, my favorite movie are it's Shutter Island, and um, that involves Leonardo DiCaprio having schizophrenia, and it's basically a psychological thriller. It When we chose the thriller, we have to choose a subgenre as well. So there are many types of thrillers, but I think we chose psychological thriller mainly because um, I made them watch Shutter Island. They really enjoyed it, and also because at that time I was studying in my AP psychology class different mental disorders and how they affect people and the driving forces behind those mental disorder. How do they affect reality? And I was immediately intrigued how we could use the the conflict of not knowing what's real, what's fiction, reality versus fiction in our movie opening. That's why I think I chose the route of psychological thriller, and our movie was very inspired in Shore Island. We really liked the idea behind it, and the movie as well. Um, Here, Leonardo DiCaprio didn't know what was real and was playing the whole movie. He was playing a lie. That's what basically we were trying to create, but give it our touch of personality into it. So we also did the idea of reality versus fiction, and we also did schizophrenia in our character. But a different type of schizophrenia. I'll get that into it in quite a bit. So the purpose of our movie as well. So the purpose of our movie was when we were investigating about which mental disorders could a patient have, we came across mind-boggling psychiatric treatments that they did back then, like way back then in the 1800s, to many people who had mental disorders, so they were considered to have a demon inside them, and they actually drew holes in the skulls, as you can see here, and they took away their frontal lobes, and they were basically turned into a human zombie, and they didn't have the ability to reason, and they were just walking corpses. And I was really intrigued by this idea and how it could pan out in our movie opening or in our movie idea in general. So we decided to go this route, but we didn't do it in the past. We actually did it in the future because, um, honestly, we wanted to also explore the idea that history repeats itself, and it maybe many people also didn't forget the fact about these experiments, and we also wanted to um, question many people about how these treatments are treated in recent days and how maybe they will be in the future if we don't do anything about it. So that's basically what we did in this on our movie opening. Also, we edited our movie in iMovie. We had past experiences on past projects in our A's Media class, and it's a very easy, user-friendly software, and it also played a big part in our editing and our decisions. We recorded with an iPhone 6. We were first very skeptical about not having a camera, but then technology has come so far, and it has a 1080p camera, and the shakiness. Well, we coupled with the shakiness in a very interesting way. So we wanted to we want we wanted to have shakiness in our video, because it could also play part in the unstableness of the character. So the shakiness that was a disadvantage on our camera, we actually made it an advantage. So that was really interesting and a very good idea for our team. We used a lot of Dutch angles and fast-paced editing, as you can see in this little clip of our movie intro. Here we see how the fast-paced editing plays out,
They're gonna find
and quick cuts. We also did many of
run
Dutch
fast.
angles and shakiness. You see how the shakiness pans out in our movie intro. Also, I when we started thinking about audio, we were thinking about having just different music on the background, but I contacted 4 different record labels, and none of them responded back. So I also looked at non-copyright music, and there was nothing much to choose from. So I had to take matters into my own hands, and I did the Foley stage. So we looked at schizophrenic voices in YouTube, and we saw that there were 2 distinct voices while there was mumbling inside. So this is a recreation from a schizophrenic patient, and was very interesting. And that's when we decided to take the route of having our character being driven by an internal voice. So a conflict between his conscious and his schizophrenic hallucination, and basically being the driving force of our character. Um, our marketing strategies basically involve just our movie intro is on YouTube, and also in very many of Twitter, Facebook, and since the independent low budget film, I think our movie will basically the more views the better. So doing the movie intro, I think it creates a intrigue about the movie, so we can use that as our inspiration. Then our target audience would be people who are generally interested or in thrillers, and also just specifically to people who are interested in this type of mental disorder, schizophrenia, because we wanted to develop this disorder as being very mysterious, and we wanted to incorporate it into our movie opening as being basically the driving force of our whole movie, schizophrenia. So a little background of our character: his name is Tom Tucker. That's a name that I came in myself, although I presented it to my group. They didn't agree to that name because we they didn't want to put any more information or background information, but I really did want to. His name is Tom Tucker, and he he's he's escaping from a mental institution because in that mental institution they do um, that type of experiments that I explained earlier, and he just running around and he doesn't know what to do. He's You see at the end of the movie intro he gets caught by police sirens, and he's just boggled by his mind and by his conscience and by he's just confused, and that makes the audience confused as well. So that's basically what we wanted to create in our movie intro, and that's just we also used a lot of fast-paced editing, low-key lighting. Um, we used low-key lighting and many other different strategies like the seam of insanity and the lack of mixture of diegetic and non-diegetic sounds. And thank you very much for listening to my CCR. I'm Carlos Wilson. This is my movie intro, Nameless.